Hey everyone, welcome to the latest episode of the Mental Brew podcast. Today we have Gary McGrath, owner of GMG Fitness. Gary, how are you keeping, bud?
Great, Dennis. Great to be here, pal. It's a bad day outside, isn't it?
Yeah, early start and it's pissing rain, so hopefully we'll lighten up now for the rest of the week or rest of the
Fingers
weekend, even the
crossed.
rest of today. How are you
Fingers
keeping?
crossed. I'm good, pal. I'm really, really good. Yeah. We're busy now this time of year with people, booking their summer holidays and stuff like that, and getting ready to go away where there's some sun. So, it's been a busy start to the year at the moment. So, fingers
Brilliant.
crossed it keeps going like that.
And Gary,
Yeah.
why do you do what you do?
So I suppose a funny one, like when I was younger, I played a lot of sport. So I played sport from when I was 7 or 8 all the way till when I was 18. Football, soccer, hurling, everything, athletics. So when I did get into the gym, initially it was just to get a little bit stronger for sport. It was just when you get to minor level and stuff like that, even when you get to under 16, it's like some lads just are a lot bigger, and I wasn't very big at all. I was only about, I'd say, maybe 50 kilos when I was 16, 17.
Hmm.
So initially I went to the gym just to improve, I suppose, performance as well, in the gym and to get stronger. But it's just one of those things as well where, like, if I'm into something, it's like 110% or 0%, right? So it's all or nothing, right? So when I did get into it, I enjoyed it, like, so I didn't know what I was doing obviously at the time at all. But me being me, I suppose I consumed so much content. And at the time, like when I was 17, 16, there wasn't much out there. There wasn't anything on social media. There wasn't anything like that. So there was only what I don't know if it's still there now, but it was bodybuilding.com, right?
Yeah.
And so over on bodybuilding.com, you had a forum and you had articles being released by certain people every week. And I just consumed and consumed and consumed all that
Hmm.
information. And I just fell in love with the process because, like, we'll say I went from like 50 kilos to 65 kilos in the first 12 months that I was in the gym.
Yeah.
Fell in love with the process altogether and actually ended up giving up sports then. So from there, then I suppose I started. My friends saw that I was getting results, and they're like, "Wow, how are you doing this?" And I said,
Hmm.
"Oh, this is how you do it. Like, this is what I'm after learning over the last 12, 18 months." And I started helping my friends as well, and they were getting results. And I was like, "Oh, wait, no a minute, maybe we could do something here."
Yeah, yeah.
So I decided to go to college then, get qualified. Um, and then, long story short, I suppose that's where it started for me, and set up my own business. Then, in the meantime, with 3 or 4 clients, and at the start it was tough, working 80, 90 hours a week for the first 2 or 3 years.
Hmm.
But got to a point where we were getting people a lot of transformations, and we were putting out the information that people need because at the moment, and especially back then, it was like a minefield of misinformation
Hmm.
within the industry, and there was a lot of people looking for quick fixes. There was a lot of people supplying quick fixes that just don't work. So
Yeah.
um, that's what I've tried to do ever since, is just to educate people correctly on the way to do it and be realistic with your expectations when you are doing it at all. So yeah, I suppose that's how I started. It was never a thing in my mind before that where I wanted to be a personal trainer or a coach or own a gym or anything like that. But I found it, I fell in love with the process, and then I really enjoy helping people too. So that's a massive benefit of what I do. Like, you
Yeah.
get to help people and you get to change their lives, I suppose, in a way, because we've helped people just lose weight or get in shape or reach targets and goals, and you'd hear from them then it's like life changing. They say, "You've changed my life completely." Because I suppose this is a thing with, like, social media as well. Like, it's like, "Oh, I want to lose weight for holidays or whatever," and
Hmm.
it's so much more than the scales. When you're on the other side, when you're a coach and you're talking to people on a weekly basis with their check-ins, it's so much more than that. Like, if people lose weight, yeah, it's great, but the other benefits, like, they feel more self-confident in themselves. They're wearing clothes that they mightn't have before. Their energy levels are higher, and then it does have a knock-on effect to things like social events when they're going to weddings or christenings or whatever. They want to get in photos instead of trying to hide from photos and stuff like that. There's so much more to it than just losing weight or getting in shape. It's everything really, and you know that ties in with the stuff that you do as well. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. We obviously work together, and we ran the Fit program with yourselves, so we'll obviously get to that at some stage in our during our chat. But come here, I want to talk to you, right? So how long are you in business, Gary?
So we have GMG Fitness now. We're going into year 6 with
Okay.
GMG Fitness, and then before that, I was just on my own for a couple of years. But I'm in the industry 11 years now. This is my
So
11th year. Yeah.
we say you've 11 years experience. You've worked with, I'm guessing, every sort of individual in terms of, their different kind of goals, whatever else, right? So I want to just put a scenario to you and kind of get your thoughts on it. So you went to college, you upskilled, yeah, you got your qualifications. You invested 11 years in the industry. So as you said, you're out on your own, and then you have the GMG Fitness brand. So that's Gary, right? So now we're going to say Dennis. So Dennis now decides to do a 6 or 8 month personal training course, or even less than that, right? So it could be a 6 week or 8 week, whatever it is. And now all of a sudden, I'm, positioning myself as a guru and offering these quick fixes. How do you, or what do you make of that? Obviously, look, individuals might offer value at whatever level they're at, but is that frustrating for you? We'd say, firstly, as a business owner, because is there an element that people say, oh, geez, all the personal trainers are all the same. I had a bad experience there with Dennis. I just don't know, will I give whoever else a chance?
Yeah, it definitely can be frustrating. I mean, the first thing I think with the fitness industry is it's obviously booming, right?
Hmm.
Because obesity is at an all-time high, right? Mental health is to the forefront of everyone's mind now as well, especially since COVID. And the gym is a solution to that, you know, to obesity, to mental health issues, and to other things as well. So the industry is not overly saturated, but it is saturated. But
Hmm.
what I think is there should be a higher barrier to entry
Yeah,
for that, because it's all well and good helping people and all that, but you have to remember you are responsible for their health as well, their overall health, you know.
yeah,
And you know, there's these people out there that are giving misinformation. It's terrible. Quick fixes, generic plans, and they're doing more harm than good. You know, they're doing
hmm,
more harm than good. It's just, I reckon it's one of these jobs that you have to be in it to love it. You have to love it if you're doing it at all. Like you have to love the process,
yeah,
love helping people, because it's far from glamorous. It's far, far, far from glamorous. It's not at all. And what social media would have you believe is that it's glamorous, that you just sit behind your laptop and you click a few buttons and you're done in a couple of hours and you make 100K a year or something like that. It's just not the case. Whereas, you know, I've been lucky enough to work with 3 or 4 of the best coaches in Europe as my coaches
yeah,
over the past 5 or 6 years. And I've learned a lot from those people, and it's the work ethic that goes into it. If you're a good coach, the cream will always rise to the top.
yeah,
Um, the work that you put in the background may not come to fruition straight away. It might be 6 months or 12 months down the line, but word of mouth is a big thing as well. So if you look after your clients and you do your weekly check-ins, you assess and adjust in advance the program for them specifically, because it should be individualized. Everything should be progressive towards the individual,
yeah,
and their preferences and their needs at the time, because it can change on a weekly basis. So, you know, they may have life events to go to, they may have holidays, they have stressors at work, they have roadblocks that come up. And you as a coach, it's your job to make their journey as smooth as possible, while educating them as well. It's not just to give them a plan and away you go. It's to give them a plan, but to help them to understand the journey as they go. And then, you know, after a certain period of time, they may not need you anymore. The goal is not to keep someone on a plan or on personal training forevermore. A personal trainer or a coach should be there to educate the client as well. And that is a massive, massive gap in the industry, where there is a lot of what we call pretenders out there that are just deciding. For example, I'll give you an example. So, like, you see, like, all these bodybuilding shows and all, and I've done a few of those.
mm,
And you would have someone that might do a 24-week prep for a bodybuilding show, or even just a fitness photo shoot.
Mm.
And they'll hire a coach, and they might have a good coach, and they'll get to their result, and that's all well and good. And they decide, oh, sure, I can do that, right? And I'll give you a good example of that. Like, I've had previous clients that have went on to maybe get qualified in a 6 month course or 12 month
Yeah.
course, whatever. And I find out, 6, 12 months later that they're using the plans that I had made for them
Yeah.
for their clients.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I had made those plans while that person was a client of mine, individualize it to them, and they're just copy and pasting that plan over to their friends and
Yeah.
their clients. It's so wrong, and it's highly unregulated, the industry at the moment, which is unfortunate, because I guess these people are preying on other people's vulnerabilities, because some people will do anything to lose weight. Some people
Yeah.
will do anything to just try and feel better, and they'll buy into anything. But they may not know that the person that they're buying into, first of all, is not qualified to teach or sell a program. And second of all, that program is not individualized at all to them and their needs. So it's highly unfortunate. And I've had consultation calls with people who have came to me after these kind of programs, and they're saying, it cost me €500 for 12 weeks, whatever, or more. And I'm in a worse position now than when I started.
Yeah.
And it's just unfortunate, because it's like anything. It's like if I go to the barbers and I get my hair cut, but if I was on the other side and I was cutting hair and I don't have a clue, like, everybody would be going around wearing hats if I was cutting their hair.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate, and it is dangerous as well, because you're dealing with people's health, and not only their physical health but also their mental health as well, and that's a fact. So it's frustrating, but more annoying than anything. It's
Yeah.
just a
And I suppose no business owner, right? What have you learned about yourself during your time as a business owner? Because it's not easy.
yeah.
It's there's stresses, there's worries, um, you know, there's targets to maybe hit. So like what have you learned about yourself in the
Yeah,
past
yeah. So,
number of
like,
years?
I think that this is the thing as well with social media, right? And it's like, it paints the perfect picture of everything, doesn't it? Like, you
Yeah,
see the highlight reel of everyone's lives, right?
yeah,
And it's like, oh, sure, like, you own a business, sure, you're doing great in life, and just because you have a name and a limited company or whatever, right? But it's not the case at all. I mean, like, the first, as I said, 3 or 4 years, it was literally 6 days a week, work, 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 and then even on Sundays, it was on my laptop learning and stuff like that.
mm,
And I suppose, like, where are we now, 2024? Since 2016, kind of 2017, I've probably invested like 60 or 70K into my own personal development
wow,
and courses. Yeah, and courses and seminars and mentorships. Like, I did a mentorship with a guy called Phil Graham back in 2020,
mm,
and that was like 20,000 to invest into that. It was a business mentorship with a self-development mentorship. We had calls with sports psychologists. We had calls with well-being experts. We had calls with financial planners. And it really did open my eyes to, you know, you can delegate some things. You can delegate to, if you have a team, or you can delegate to people that, are experts in an area, whereas you're not.
yeah,
Whereas I suppose prior to that, I was doing everything myself. And it is difficult at times, especially in the early days. It's really, really difficult, because, as you said there, with financial targets and goals, and, you don't just go home on a Friday and have a wage. You don't
yeah,
ever.
yeah,
And you don't get paid if you're sick.
yeah,
You don't get paid if you're on holidays. So there's a lot to be said for owning a business and the stress that it brings as well.
mm,
And then, as the business grows, as it has grown, and we've been lucky enough to be able to take on a couple of personal trainers and stuff like that. You have another set then of stressors as well, because sometimes, you have to pay wages to staff. Sometimes staff are out sick. Sometimes there's clients that are canceling, and staff are, relaying that information to you, and you still have to be everything. So, like, in the early days, I was the accountant, the painter,
yeah,
I was the cleaner, the personal trainer. And sometimes you still have to slip into those roles as well. And obviously, when COVID hit as well, we couldn't open the gym.
Yeah.
which was a massive stressor as well. So I went online. So at the time, online coaching was kind of uh, heard of, but it wasn't a really big thing in Ireland at least.
Yeah.
So I transitioned online with Phil Graham at the time when I was doing that course. And it was probably the best thing I ever did because when we reopened in July 21, I was able to bring all those clients that were online back into the gym, but they could also do what we now do as a hybrid program. So you can train in our gym. You have your nutrition, your check-ins online, but you can also train in any other gym, and you have a personalized, tailored training program for you with weekly check-ins online. So you get the best of both worlds. You have your trainers in person in our facility, and then you have the online coaching side of things, which is now taken off across Europe and Ireland. Online coaching, you know, you'd see an online coach every other day now
Yeah.
posting on Facebook and stuff. So yeah, it is stressful and it can be stressful. And there are days and there has been days where I'm thinking, will I just pack it all in, you know?
Really.
Yeah, it's not glamorous at all, at all, at all. And it is a lot of hard work and it has been a lot of hard work. And you know, I suppose these are the things that people don't see. You know, they see the transformations you post, they see, you know, the gym doing really well, they see the new equipment that you're buying and stuff like that. But people forget, I suppose, or they just don't realize that it takes an awful lot of work to get to that point, you know. So yeah, there has been days where I'm like, oh, I just pack this in and get a normal job, and you know, I can go home on a Friday and you know not have to answer my phone on Sunday mornings or do
Yeah.
check-ins on Saturday nights. There's been a lot of weekends where, or a lot of weeks where I've missed family events, or I've missed birthdays, or I've missed nights out, or whatever,
Yeah.
because I was building the business at the time. But that's what it takes. You know, that's, don't get me wrong, that's what it takes. Anybody that is successful in business, even to a small point of success, I'm sure that they've had sleepless nights too. You know.
And come here, I'll go back there to the point. So you mentioned you did the mentoring with Phil Graham. So you just want to bring it back, right? So you obviously maybe do the consult and see what you want to do, uh, what the cost is. Um, but come here, when you decide to do it, right, and you press send, when you're sending over, whether it be an installment, 20K, like, what's that feeling like? Is there a feeling in the picture someone going, oh shit, man, I'm investing like a
Yeah,
lot of money in this year, or what was the feeling?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Like I remember at the time, we had closed and it was COVID, and you know I had been following Phil Graham for years and years and years at the time. And he was kind of bringing out a new way of you know of thinking where it was like everything's going to go online. He was saying this back in 2018, 2019. Everything's going to go online. You know, the gym floor is one thing, right? And it's great, you know, to be a personal trainer, but you are trading your time for money, you know, on the gym
Yeah.
floor. And you, especially in the early days, and what he was saying is you don't get paid if you're not there. You
Mm.
don't get paid if you're on holidays. You don't get paid if you take a sick day or you are sick. And that was the reality at the time for me. And I was like, yeah, you know, that is the reality, like, you know. And with the online, then, you know, you can reach a wider market. It's not just the locality. Like
Mm.
I have clients now in Canada, Australia, the UK, because because you can like we're doing Zoom here now, you know, we're not having to be in the same building or anything, like, you know. So at the time I was thinking, yeah, he's right, and I was watching all his videos and all, and I had an onboarding call with one of his team, and yeah, I had some savings and stuff like that because the gym was doing well prior to that, and I was like, you know what, if you don't take the risk you can't get the reward at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're willing to invest, you have to be all in and just be willing to give it everything you got. So it was one of the best things I did at the time. Looking back on it now, I learned a lot. I learned so much from it, you know. Um, even just from a business development point of view,
Mm.
and how to run a business and how you should be running a business. It was great. Yeah,
And obviously, you're in Fermoy. I'm living in Fermoy now, right? Fermoy isn't the biggest of, we'll say, towns, right? So I'm obviously come from a city, so I'm comparing to the city.
yeah,
But in within the locality, right, there is a shit ton of gyms.
yeah,
There is And then even if you go further out to Mitchelstown and beyond, or into Castlelaines, whatever it may be, right? Or not to Castlelaines, into Rathcormac,
Yeah.
gyms, right? How do you set yourself apart from the competition, and how do you view the competition? Like, is it something that worries you? Is it something that you'd stress over, kind of going, look, there's, Lord and Fitness, they're doing this offer where, whatever offer they do, 6 months free and blah 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 blah. Like,
Yeah.
because realistically, if you're a gym, you're trying to get your own little piece of the market, and then
Yeah.
realistically, you're trying to pick up people from other gyms or other areas. So, like,
Mhm.
how do you view that? Because it's a fairly competitive market in Fermoy, and obviously in
Yeah.
Cork, in Munster, in Ireland. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely. Like it's a highly competitive market everywhere in Ireland right now because everybody and their best friend has set up a gym or wants to be a
yeah,
personal trainer, right? And everybody wants to be a personal trainer because they think it's glamorous, but the lifespan in the industry is very, very short. It's like less than a year, more or less at a time.
oh,
So yeah, so I view the competition as good. It's really good because first of all, people have the opportunity to go to gyms and get healthy and get fit, and it's an outlet a lot of the time for people's stress and mental health as well. Um, and I suppose with regards to the gyms and the locality and stuff, I think there's enough people for everyone, right? There's a market for everyone. Um, and what we do is a little bit different to your normal commercial gym or whatever, right? So you have a normal commercial gym and it's obviously low ticket. So it's cheap price per month or per year. And then you go in and you do your own thing and
yeah,
that's fine. But the problem with that for most of the people that do go to commercial gyms is 99% of them don't really know what they're doing within the gym. They don't know how to structure an exercise program or exercise selection or execution of exercises. And 99% of the general people in gyms don't know how to structure their nutrition because they're just simply not qualified to do it.
yeah,
So where we come in a little bit different is our facility is a private training facility. You have a trainer with you, so the sessions are all trainer led and tailored to the person. A lot of the time people come to us having tried commercial gyms already,
yeah,
and what they'll say to me a lot of the time is they find commercial gyms quite intimidating. And it can be, and I understand that. Like having trained in gyms for the last 15, 16 years myself, on and off, and even just going to gyms on holidays, or if I was at a weekend away in Dublin, I might go to the gym. But it can be intimidating. And if you walk into a building and, there's 50 or 60 people there and you don't know what to do, most of those people are just ending up going on a treadmill for 20 or 30 minutes and going home,
mm,
which is unfortunate. So I feel that we fill a gap in the market where a lot of people fall through that gap.
yeah,
And those people are the people that have gym memberships, maybe go a couple of times a week and hop on a treadmill and don't know what they're doing, don't get any results or any benefits from it, get fed up, and then end up never using their gym membership again. All those people need is guidance and support and accountability with some form of structured plan for them in place. So, that's where we fill that gap. And that's our market, that's our target market,
yeah,
is, anyone from 25 plus, men and women who just want to feel better. It mightn't even be to lose weight, but it might be lose weight, build muscle, just feel better, get a little bit fitter, maybe come back to fitness, come back to their previous fitness that they might have had in their early 20s if
mm,
they're in their 40s or 50s now. And they don't know what to do. They
yeah,
don't know where to start, and they don't want to feel intimidated walking into a gym with no support and no help, and there could be 40 or 50 other people on the floor. So that's our target market, and that's kind of where we work with. Most of our clients are those people, you
yeah,
know. Um, Whereas I suppose with the commercial gyms and stuff like that, they're everywhere now. Commercial gyms are in every other town in the country.
yeah,
Um, Most of the people that are progressing within a commercial gym are either highly advanced trainees who know what they're doing with years and years and years, or are qualified themselves personal trainers. The general population, like the Gen Pop is what we call them, is most of those people don't really know what to do within a gym or
yeah,
structure a program. So, that's the market that we feed and we support. And I think competition's good. I think competition is good for everybody, for everybody. And, I think there's enough people in the locality, especially now that we have online as well across the world, of course, that every single fitness business can do well. As long as their morals are correct, you know, as long as they truly want to help those people, you
Yeah.
know.
And what have you found, right, as a business owner, building and driving a business, but also as a father, right? So you have a young family. How do
Yeah.
you find the balance of doing that? Because, right, it's like, you know, I mentioned this a good few times, you know yourself. There's been many a voice tag where you've heard my son Donica roaring down and
Yeah, yeah,
roaring in the
yeah,
background, right?
yeah,
Like, how have you found that balance? Because even for me, what I struggle with is I'm still doing a bit of subbing, keep the money coming in.
yeah,
I've got the business arm of Fusion Performance where I'm working with businesses, and I'm obviously then doing the elite level sports as well. And then obviously the Cycle program, which we ran for yourselves.
yeah,
So I'm kind of going, yeah, definitely need to be more present for Donica and Ashton, right? But at the
yeah,
same time, you're kind of going, I need to bring money in
yeah,
because you want to give, you know, your kids that really good standard of living, you know, where they won't want for anything. But at the
yeah,
same time, then there's a bit of a cost where you're kind of going, okay, I'm looking to provide X. So I might have to step
100%.
away and
Yeah,
obviously be absent, but like you know, I mightn't be as available as I'd love to be. How do you
yeah,
find dealing with that?
100%. And this is a really good question because I say this to clients when they come on board as well, right? I say this to clients. If nothing changes, nothing changes, right? Insanity is basically doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Okay.
Mm,
Um, so with regards to looking for a balance, sometimes there's just no balance to be had, right? So I remember looking at what I was doing, scrolling online, watching Netflix and all that kind of stuff at the time, right? And I was saying, Jesus, you know, there's 5 or 6 hours a week here where I'm actually like watching Netflix or scrolling on my phone, and
mm,
it's unproductive. It's completely unproductive. Where could I be productive in those hours and, you know, move the needle of the business? Yeah, absolutely, you can. Could I get up an hour earlier in the mornings? Yeah, you actually can. Like, what else are you doing? Like, why,
mm,
you know, set your alarm for an hour earlier. And in the early days of the business, especially, 100% yes. Like, I mean, it did take a lot of sacrifice. Like, you're not going to get the result doing what everyone else does if you're looking for a different outcome. You know, like if you're looking
mm.
for a different outcome, you're not going to get the result doing what, you know, someone working 9 to 5 is doing, because you're not working 9 to 5. And you
Yeah.
know, running a business is not 9 to 5, and probably never will be. You know, so yeah, there was no balance in the early days. There was no balance. There was 80, 90 hour work weeks. There was 2 or 3 hours of sleep at night, and that's what people didn't see. That's what people didn't see, you know. And I remember people saying it to me like, "Oh, sure, it's grand for you. Like, you know, business is doing well. It's grand for you." And I was just thinking, Jesus, like if you only knew what it took to get here, like if you only knew what it took, like, you know, most people work 39 hours a week, and, you know, I was
Yeah.
doing 2.5 times that most weeks for the first 2 or 3 years. Um, and you know, it does have an effect on you. It does burn you out and stuff like that. So there is no real balance, no. And then to find a balance, the only time I found a little bit of a balance, and it still wasn't a balance, but it was a little bit, was when I was able to hire staff and delegate
Mm,
some jobs, you know. And
yeah.
you know, the delegation of in-person PT at the time, it saved me time so I could move the needle in other ways for the business, you know.
Mm,
I could invest into mentorships and programs where it was business mentorships and programs, because at the end of the day, like, I'm a coach and a personal trainer. I'm not a marketer, or I'm
yeah.
not a business coach, or, you know, anything like that. So I had to learn all those other skills when I got that free time. So yeah, so even when I delegated the jobs and we had some staff on the gym floor, I used that time then to move the business and move the needle in other ways, and continue it to grow. So there's never been a week of 9 to 5s really.
And I suppose, what's the goal, right, for you? I was saying, no, you mentioned helping people, right? So
Yeah,
is it to, like, I suppose essentially what I'm asking, what are the long-term plans for GMG Fitness? Like, is it to kind of hit a certain financial target? Is it to expand the gym to a different site? Is it to build a massive online base? Or is it like simply just to cover yourself and live comfortably for life, if you get me, without,
yeah.
is that where the needle stops? Like, what are your goals for your own business?
Yeah, it's a good question. And like I think like over the years my goals and targets have changed. Like each time I hit a target, I would be like, okay, what's next? What's
Yeah,
next? I very much like that, you know. But with regards to what's going on currently, so currently now I'm working on building systems within the business. So the business is my vehicle, we'll say, and it's moving. But I want to make the client journey more effective, more efficient. I want to make the client journey more structured. And so we're building systems at the moment. We're moving a lot of stuff online and reaching to a wider market that we can, you know, have the clients in Canada, in Australia, in the UK, and be able to offer those people, you know, the results that they deserve too. So the next kind of step we'll say is moving a lot of stuff online, you know, reaching out to a wider market to be able to help more people. Because yeah, the initial goal was to help people, my friends and family, of course, at the very start. And then I was getting those results and I was thinking, okay, let's get qualified and actually help people as a business. And then over the last, you know, 6 years, we've helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in the locality, which is
mm,
great. But a brick and mortar business only gives you a certain amount of outreach and a certain amount of people to be able to help.
yeah,
And, you know, the next step is to be able to help people worldwide and be online. And so at the moment, we're building the systems that are going to allow us to do that. And that will be by the end of this year, you know, we will have a lot of, you know, new clients that are not having to come to a brick and mortar business and train in person. A lot of people will be able to train online. And I just feel that's the way the fitness industry itself is going anyway, you know.
mm,
I mean, if you scroll on Instagram now or Facebook, you're going to see ads for the next fitness program. We're looking for 10 men, we're looking for 10
yeah,
women.
yeah.
And a lot of these coaches are in Spain or Dubai or America or wherever they are. And a lot of them are fantastic. A lot of them are really good. And it just goes to show you that, you know, if you have a problem, if you have a pain point, you want to lose weight, you want to get fit, and someone has a solution, well then you can do that. You can
Mm.
purchase that solution to fix the pain point or fix the problem that you have. And for me, yeah, I do love helping people. So it will give me scope to help more people from a wider base, basically. So the next goal is to build the online space of our business.
And can I
Yeah.
ask, when you say online coaching now, is you obviously mentioned you get a program, but is that like will they get videos then demonstrating exercises, or is it actually someone on the opposite side of the camera going through a class, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So we're just after building an app at the moment that we have for our clients. So for example, if you were training in the UK and you were
Mm.
training with us, what you get every week is you have your tailored nutrition plan, you have your tailored training plan that is based on you, your goals, your abilities, and the facility that you train in. And every exercise on your training program includes a video of that exercise being executed.
Yeah,
There's rest times in there. There is reps, sets, all of it's in there. Coach's notes on all the exercise. So in reality, it's like having a personal trainer with you at every single session, but at half the cost.
yeah,
You know,
okay.
at half the cost. So the online coaching world is going to take off because it's going to replace eventually the in-person PT who's doing one-on-ones. You know, because you could spend 25 euros an hour on a one-on-one PT within Cork, you know, and
Yeah,
when if you go as far as Dublin, it's up to 80 euros per hour for one personal training session.
stop.
Yeah, yeah, that's how much it is, you know. And if you're doing online coaching and you're paying 599 or 699 for, you know, 3 4 months, you're saving a lot of money across the board versus
Yeah,
one-on-one PT. So that is becoming a thing now where we see that trend in the industry where people are dropping the one-on-one PT. They're getting an online coach because for half the price, they're also getting nutrition support, weekly check-ins, educational content, and all of that. And I suppose where online coaching will benefit people more versus the in-person PT is if you think about it, if you're training twice a week with a personal trainer, you're accountable for 2 hours a week. if you're getting a full online coaching package and you have your weekly check-ins and your daily touch points, you're accountable for 7 days a week.
Mm.
You know, so there's a lot more support at half the price. So that's where it's at.
And just with the nutrition piece, this was I was gearing up to go into this industry a good while ago. I've done my master's in strength and conditioning. I went and did the precision nutrition
Yeah.
certification, right? But I realized a couple of things. One, I was training regularly enough myself to offer value. I wasn't doing the exercises enough to demonstrate them effectively, right? And I just I saw a post up there from a fellow involved with Cork City, but he's an S&C coach, and it was like, you know, if you're an S&C coach and you can't run like whatever, this the 5 minute mile or 3 minute mile
Yeah.
without doing it comfortably, are you really the best person to be showing these people? So I kind of was like, okay. And then the nutrition pieces, while I got through the precision nutrition thing, of course, I just knew once it was done that I would not be comfortable offering that
Yeah.
service to people, right?
Yeah.
But, and we kind of touched on it already, but with nutrition especially, I definitely see it now where someone does a 6 month course, someone does a 3 month course,
Yeah.
even in college, and it's kind of across the board. Like one of the lads in college, he was telling me that he's come across someone who did like a 6 month kind of wellness course, and now they're saying that they can heal people's trauma and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
how I suppose how can or what advice would you give someone? So Dennis here now is going to go looking for a personal trainer or a gym. What should I be looking out for just to make sure that I'm getting value for money, but I'm also with someone who's suitably qualified that
Yeah.
will look after me essentially?
Yeah, and it is highly frustrating because as I said earlier, the industry is highly unregulated at the moment, right? Which is so unfortunate because you are dealing with people's health, their physical and mental health. Okay. And so if you look a lot of the time, you have to remember as well, I suppose, like our Instagram and our Facebook is our shop window, right?
Yeah,
And you can look on our page over the years and you can see results. That's the one thing. Number one thing, if you can see social proof and results that this coach or this business has got results time and time and time and time again, that's a green flag. That's a green flag. That's a thumbs up from me.
yeah,
If you go on to a coach's page or a business's page and there isn't any results, you'd have to question, like, okay, why is there no results? Because at the end of the day, people go to a gym and a program for results. And
mhm,
it's simple as that. People want to get results and they're paying you to get a result. So that's the number one thing that I would look out for and that I have looked out for if I have hired my own coaches before,
yeah,
which I have a lot of the time, results. And then, um, you know, feedback from people that have been through a program or are currently in a program with that gym or that coach or that, that trainer. And those are the two things, like
yeah.
I have, like, literally the last coach I had literally been watching their social media for 6 months before I decided to pull the trigger.
Okay, well,
And we see that a lot of the time with people that we have consultation calls with. I'll be on the phone to them, so sometimes January, February, March, especially the start of every year, we can have 30 or 40 consultation calls a week. And a lot of these people are saying, Jesus, Gary, yeah, I was actually looking at your page last summer.
yeah,
And I was like, okay. So sometimes it takes a little while to pull the trigger, because you want to be sure.
yeah,
And, if you see our social media, I post results, results, results every single week. We have hundreds and hundreds of, social proof results that we have got with normal, average, everyday people like me and you, and have got them to the physique of their dreams, basically. Um, but that's what I would look for, and that's what I have looked for with coaches that I have hired to be my coach if I've done photo shoots or bodybuilding shows or whatever. Because I want to be sure that I'm looking for the result. Can they show me from their results that they can do that for me? That's the number one thing, results. It has to be results. And so that's what I look for. That's what I
And
would look for.
you're just after reminding me of something here. So I would have started off Fusion about 2.5, 3 years ago, and I was lost
Mm.
for a good year and a half of that, where I was still working full-time teaching, putting everything off, and the the page was up, the Facebook was up, and Instagram was up, and you're putting stuff up, but wouldn't even say it was a real business at that stage, right? But I remember coming across something on LinkedIn. This fellow was a business coach, positioned himself as such, did a call, really slick.
Yeah.
It was the Apple computer was there in front of him. Like, it was really, it was good to see it, and it looked really well.
Yeah.
So we went through it anyway, and he was kind of saying, "You come on board now with my program, I can guarantee you 60 grand income. You can do this, and this." And I think that the sign up was 5 or 6 grand. And I remember just going, but don't have that cash at the moment. No, I probably did, but I wasn't willing to part with
Yeah.
it. So he probably didn't do a good enough job selling to me. Now, I was very tempted, and Ashley kind of came back. She was like, but like, there's no guarantee in that.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, if you don't get 60 grand, you can stay on the program." So I was like, right. So anyway, I put his name into Google. This fella had a fitness industry kind of thing as well. And the amount of negative comments around it, and he'd obviously shifted to business. And it
Yeah.
was the same thing, man. And it was just, it
Right.
was, it was, it was an eye-opening experience.
Yeah.
And I something similar with another kind of coaching crowd. And I remember your man was doing a Zoom call, really slick, and I was impressed. Like, thought it was really,
Yeah.
really good. But I, again, didn't have the funds, or didn't really want to part with them. And I remember he just goes, "Oh, it's fine. Your business isn't your priority right now." And I remember just kind of going, "What are you being an asshole for?" Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Right? They were selling. They were just selling. They didn't give a shit about my business. They were just selling.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's what the reason I'm getting to it is, you've mentioned mental health now more than once.
Yeah.
And I obviously reached out to you about the Cyclefit programs. We ran that with the clients of your business. And firstly, you took a real interest in your clients' mental health, because that was my area,
Yes.
focusing on their mental health, goal setting. I suppose, what was your experience of the Cyclefit program that we ran? How did you find it and benefit to your
Yeah.
members?
Yeah. So I found the cyclic program really, really, really beneficial. Even for me,
Mm.
like even consuming the content and stuff like that, because mental health is a massive thing that people don't talk about at all, at all, at all. And for our clients, even to understand the things that you were teaching was massively beneficial. I honestly think that it should be in every gym across every program in Ireland, because
Mm.
we're a little bit behind the rest of Europe with regards to this kind of stuff,
Yeah,
You will see it in programs in the UK a lot of the time. And even people's relationship with food, and their relationship with regards to the scales. If the scales doesn't move, people freak out. you
yeah,
know
yeah.
and it's the understanding of that. And it's a massively beneficial program, and it was massively beneficial for us and our clients. So like, I'd recommend it massively to anybody, to any gym, for their clients, because I think everybody should have it.
Mm.
So yeah, that's kind of what I thought of it. It's
Yeah,
very, very important.
yeah, and do you know what, I kind of, when I messaged you, I think once I messaged you, we'd met up within 2 or 3 days, I think it was.
Yep.
Like, so, like, GMG Fitness, really forward thinking gym is what I'd say. I know, obviously,
Mm.
what I did is we worked out a package. It was monthly masterminds. There was email support for clients. There was kind of questionnaires going around fairly regularly and stuff as well, to getting assessments of each month and where we're at, what they want to work on. So, and I know we've kind of talked about doing something again, running phase 2 at some stage. Um,
Yep.
but for you, right, and we're nearly done because I'm conscious of your time. For you, what do you want people to say about either Gary as the gym owner, or Gary as the father, Gary as their friend, Gary, GMG Fitness in general? What do you want people to associate with yourself?
I think we've built a reputation for a gym that cares about people. It's not just like a conveyor belt of clients coming in and out. The client journey itself is like our most important thing, and like our client retention is quite high. So, you know, the client lifetime in our business is around 2 years. Like, so if
Yeah.
someone joins, they're with us for about 2 years before, you know, they move on maybe to doing their own little bit of training, you know. So I'd like our gym to be considered a gym that cares and a gym that helps. And, you know, it's not just another gym where you come in and do your own thing, that it's like a community that we have built. And, you know, I know a lot of our clients refer to it as the GMG family. You know, I know a lot of our clients refer to it as that, which is very nice to hear. Because at the end of the day, I wouldn't be doing this at all. And I don't think anybody should do this if they don't love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just one of these jobs that you need to actually love it. You need to love it if you're going to be doing check-ins on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning, or
Yeah.
you're going to be adjusting and assessing plans on a Saturday night. You need to absolutely love it, you know, and not only that, but you need to know what you're doing, because at the end of the day, if Mary down the road wants to lose 10 pounds and feel a little bit better, um, by losing that 10 pounds and getting to that goal and stuff, that might mean the absolute world to her, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fitting into a new size dress, or being able to go to a social event and actually be in photos and not feel self-conscious, that might be the thing that absolutely changes her life. You know, it might be nothing to you, but to her, that might change her absolute life. So it's important to care, and it's important to know what you're doing as well. So if our gym can be considered anything, I'm hoping that it's that, you know.
Brilliant. And last question, right? So, in terms for either yourself as a business owner, or even imparting onto your clients, right? What are your key pillars of performance?
My key pillars of performance for
Yeah.
the client.
For the client or yourself as a business owner, or like, so like, even if you say, would say obviously would say hard work, right? So for you, that's a key pillar for your business. But is that something you try and have as a cornerstone of what you kind of, you know, into link into the clients and help them kind of have their own pillars that you're kind of influencing that?
Yeah, like hard work is obviously is everything, right? Because without hard work, you're getting nowhere fast, right?
Yeah.
You're racing to the bottom without hard work. I would say for me as a business owner as well is constant self-development. Constant self-development. Like you're never finished learning. That's the thing.
Mm,
Even as a coach now, even like with regards to things in nutrition and things in training, I'm always still listening and learning and
mm,
upskilling, you know. And over the past few years, there's been seminars and stuff that I went to and on all of this, because you never know it all. So the day you think you know it all is the day you're finished.
yeah.
Um, so upskilling for me, learning, constant learning, hard work is, yeah, like you said there, hard work is the number one though. It is like
Yeah.
there is no getting away from that, because if like as I said earlier, in the early days, if I had just looked at someone that I know and say, oh yeah, sure, like, you know, they're working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. If I had replicated that, my business would have never moved forward at all.
Yeah.
You can't really do what other people are doing if you want a different result. If you want something that other people aren't getting, you need to do something different. You need to get out of your own way. So like getting out of my comfort zone on a weekly basis as well, if not a daily basis, is a massive thing.
That's
Um,
brilliant.
Nothing grows in your comfort zone at all. Like
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
literally nothing grows there. So whatever it may be, getting out of your comfort zone. And I say that to my clients all the time, you know, with their check-ins, with their weekly assessments, I'm saying you need to get out of your comfort zone this week, you know. We need to do something that you haven't done before if you want something that you've never had before.
Yeah. Okay.
Simple as that. So I suppose that, like, really, you know.
Brilliant. And Gary, where can people find you?
So we are on Instagram at GMG __ fitness, and we're on Facebook at GMG Fitness.
Brilliant, Gary. Thanks so much for your time. And again, for anyone listening, I would highly recommend Gary and GMG Fitness. I suppose I was lucky enough to kind of see under the hood of what's on offer, why they do it. And in terms of a service offer, lads, it's second to none. We will obviously share links. I'll share links and stuff for people to can find you a bit easier and stuff as well. Gary, thanks so much,
Thanks,
man.
Al. No problem at all.
Great having
Lovely,
you
lovely
on.
being
Cheers,
here.
buddy.
Thank you.